Welcome to Meeples on Meeples Holiday Spectacular 2012. I almost said X-Spectacular. We're making up words anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm Brian.
Adam.
Andrew.
The question for this short episode is games that you can use to fill a snow day, or games that you can play over like winter break because the kids are at home and going stir crazy. So, Adam, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll get going here. I try to pick my games as ones that are going to fill a lot of time or be a lot of fun you want to replay over and over again. So I got 3 on my list. Got Cosmic Encounter, Heroescape, and Cadwallon City of Thieves. I may be pronouncing that wrong, but City of Thieves. Cosmic Encounter, I don't think we've talked about that yet in our holiday extravaganza.
But right off the bat, I'm going to second that. Is that on your list too? Or?
Cosmic Encounter is on my list.
Okay,
Yeah.
all 3 of us, go ahead.
It not only can fill a lot of time, I think, but it's one that, at least in our group, we can play it over and over and over again. Because sometimes you can have a really quick game, and it's always different every time you play it. It's basically everybody gets
so many
random species. They pick one to play as, and each species has its own special rule set. Those rules are then augmented by cards that you draw as you try to fight each other and take over other planets. So I don't think we've had a single game that's been even remotely the same. I mean, you get completely different cards, completely different powers.
Let's just put it this way. It's the only game I know where there's a legitimate cheat card.
That's you can steal from the deck. Here's the best part. If you get caught, move the deck closer to you, so it's easier to cheat. And you have to put the card out so everybody remembers that you can cheat so they can watch you. But it lets you cheat. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's enough.
Puts it at the top of the list right there.
And while it's not a long game to fill a snow day, I would have no problem playing 3 games in a row.
You can have some long games, but yeah, it's more of the ability to repeat it and still have a ton of fun.
It's because the rules change every time, because your rule set is not going to be the same every time.
And sometimes your alien can help you reverse rules. Oh, normally the high wins, but in this case, if you use your special power, the low number wins, and the whole game changes now.
And there's so many expansions. Pat, the guy in our group that has it, has a stack of species cards that's about that tall. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, great chance of repeating, even in a long snow day or in a long snow week, are very, very low.
Before we drone on about it, just check out our episode on Cosmic Encounter.
Great game. My next one is going to be a Heroescape, which Brian talked about a little bit last game. I'm not a huge fan of it.
I'm going to second that. It's also on my list for a snow day.
I have not played Heroescape, so I don't know.
It's a miniature game that has kind of a Lego building aspect to it. You build your maps early on, and then you have your miniatures that you basically fight. You can play in teams, you can play individually. And you can build the map to be however you want it. We played one where it's like a Storm the Castle map. We played just an open map and fought each other. That one's great because it can fill a lot of time, not only putting together the map, but also just playing the game out. I mean, if you play with enough characters, you can get a good 3, maybe 4 hour game out of it.
Oh yeah, you could. If you build if you have a lot of money, which I wish I had enough pieces, you could spend 3 or 4 hours just building levels. I've seen people who have levels that are like 5 feet tall. These just huge castles, and it stretches the length of like 2 tables. It's like a 6-foot-long level. I mean, it is insane. You could spend a whole snow day just building something. Never even have the intent of playing, just to take pictures and post them online.
So even not being a big fan of it, I think would be a good one. You know, if you're going to be stuck in the house anyways all day, maybe kick off with that game and then maybe fall back on Cosmic Encounter later on. My last one is going to be Cadwallon City of Thieves. It's one that we've played only a few times. The basic premise is there's a lot of different scenarios, but broken down to its most basic is you're all a bunch of thieves. You have a team of, I think it's 4 characters each person does. And your point is to try to get treasures in different buildings before other people do. You have cards where you can kind of screw each other before they get those treasures. It's not necessarily a super long game. It's probably about 2 hours.
And then towards the end, I guess, in the scenarios we played, you have to escape. Yeah, with your money, you have to escape.
You have to not only get the treasure, but you have to get out of the city before it locks down completely. Right. So the roads slowly close. So I just had a lot of fun with that one. It's a great competitive game, and it's fairly long. So that's why I made my list.
Yeah, it's not on my list, but I could see that it's a very fun game.
All right, I'm gonna jump in next because you've covered most of mine actually. I had Cosmic, I had Heroescape, but I also threw in Cyclades, which we've talked about before. But because it's a battle game, again to fill a long snow day. Not because it's a long game. I think a long game of Cyclades might take 2 hours and 15 minutes probably max. A short game might be 1 hour and 15 minutes, but again, I would have no problem setting it up and playing it again. I mean, I love that game. I believe I gave it a 9 when we reviewed it. Go check that out. Great game, nice components. Not at all. No. So it's a lot of fun, and I can just play it again and again and again. So I would throw that out there.
Let's see, what else do I got on here? I've got Last Night on Earth. and I've got Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Okay, good choices.
Yeah, they're kind of the horror side, and I like those games. Last Night on Earth is more competitive, and yeah, I always lose. I think I've won like twice.
If you're the humans, just resign yourself to a loss and just enjoy the game for what it is.
It is. It's a lot of fun, and then Betrayal is always a lot of fun because there's usually one person that becomes a traitor, and then you're kind of a group of people fighting against that one person, but there's aspects of certain rules that you don't know that they can do things, and it's a lot of fun, and they're not terribly long games, but they can get long at some times.
Jump in. We've done reviews of both those too, so be sure to go back and check out those episodes for a more in-depth explanation of them.
But yeah, they're both fun games, and I could see myself playing 2 times in a row on either game. So.
And if you did 2 Betrayal House on the Hill, 2 Last Night on Earth, if you were to do that, you could fill a snow day. I mean, that'd be like 8, 5 to 8 hours probably. Yeah. But I mean, that could fill a good chunk of the day.
Enough of sitting around a table looking at somebody, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to throw out, I have a game, Mage Knight, I am dying to play, but I hear that the first time you play it, it will be a 4 to 6 hour event. So if you were one of those people who wants a big epic game, I'm going to throw Mage Knight out there. That's really high on like the top whatever, I think it's like number 9 of all time on Board Game Geek's list. And then people always talk about Twilight Imperium, which I don't think I personally would enjoy, but if you go fishing around, you can find those long, epic games. If that's what you're looking for to fill a long snow day, you probably can't go wrong with either of those either.
Wait, there's games out there that last that long that aren't Risk?
Yeah. Or Monopoly. Of course, everybody cheats in Monopoly and plays house rules anyway.
I think
you have to.
I think that covers our games for a long snow day, for our holiday extravaganza, spectacular specialty 2012. I don't think that made any sense, but we'll go with it. Be sure to check back next time for our what we consider good fast playing games when you're running low on time. So end of the night, you need to get an extra game in. Be sure to check that out coming up in the next couple days.